One of the most beautiful things is when you are so unapologetically yourself that other people feel called to do the exact same thing. And hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Marcie, and for those of you that do know me, thank you so much for coming back and joining me. So I want to keep today super chilled, super chatty. I've literally like thrown my hair up into a bun. I've got the comfiest jumper I could possibly wear, and I would have had a cup of tea, just pretend I do, but I have just drank it. I was an eager beaver for my cup of tea. It was my first one of the day, so girl can't help it. I'm tea obsessed. But if you want to pause the video. So for today's video, I want to talk to you about something that I was introduced to maybe a couple of years ago. I think about 2 years ago. And it is something that I believe is really important to understand. Not only for your work life, but for your personal life and just for life in general. Now, a lot of the time we end up wondering, what is our purpose? And we quite often look for or seek outside validation, outside clarity, when actually it's all within us. It's a little spark, a little flame inside of us that keeps us going. But we are often afraid to listen to that inner voice and to trust it. So I got asked, what is my why? Why do I do what I do? And honestly, when I was first asked the question, I was kind of just, I don't know, I guess I looked like a bit like deer in headlights. I didn't have a response. I didn't know, but I had never really taken the time out to ask myself that, to figure it out. I was kind of just going through the motion of every day, getting up, doing what I'm doing, and I guess not really knowing why I was doing it, what my aim is for myself as a person, for my working life, for life in general. And it wasn't until I started actually asking myself the question and then listening to myself, trusting my instincts and my gut, that I started to feel, okay, I think I know what my why is, and I like that and I'm happy with that. And whenever I face a difficult situation, I come back to that. What is my why? And it's like knowing that, I know that I can progress and I can move forward with confidence and with trust within myself and within any situation. So most of the time when you get asked, or when you ask someone, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? Why do you go to work every day? The most common response that you will find or you will receive is for the money, or it pays all right, or it gives me money. And okay, don't get me wrong, they are totally valid answers. There isn't a wrong answer. They're completely valid, they're completely acceptable, and I get it. But what a lot of people don't understand is that money is the result of the work that you do, but your why is the fuel for your work. So there's so much more to it, but people don't take the time to step back and talk to themselves and build that trust within themselves and that connection to really understand what it is that motivates them. What type of person do you want to be? How do you want to make others feel when they're in your presence? How do you want to be as an employee or an employer? What environment, what vibe, what energy are you trying to give off, and why? And I think when you start to ask yourself this, you start to find alignment within your life and within your beliefs, your morals, your core values. And that is a really strong foundation to take on every single day and to help you through every single day. So I thought I would maybe start off by talking to you about what my why is. So for me, growing up, growing up, I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a primary school teacher. And whenever people would ask me when I was like really young, like 8, 9 years old, what do you want to do? It would always be, I want to teach. And then that slowly shifted and I wanted to work within the creative industry, within fashion and textiles. And I absolutely loved it. Then I thought, okay, maybe an art teacher. I adored it. But then if you've seen my From Anxiety to India video, you will know the story of how I came into teaching yoga and fitness and everything like that, and how that took over my life. Now, I truly believe that I was put on earth to teach, whether that is in your form of traditionally teaching in schools, which is what I wanted to do when I was younger, or whether it is what I do now and I teach classes. But through classes, I want to not only just teach the practice, I want to create a space for you to come to your mat, to walk into the class and feel safe, to feel held, and most importantly, feel heard. So growing up, as you may or may not know, if you haven't watched my From Anxiety to India video, I will link it. Give it a watch. It will probably make sense watching that and then watching this, because I will probably reference that video a fair bit. But growing up, I was bullied in school. I never felt good enough, or I was often made to feel that I was too much. This then made me feel like I couldn't be myself, and my self-worth was kind of non-existent. Neither was my self-esteem. I just felt pretty much like, oh, if I could be that person, then this would be so much better. If I could do that, that would be so much better. And I stopped giving myself credit for the things that I could do. This then led me to become extremely anxious, and I struggled with anxiety and with depression for many, many years of my life. I am not afraid or shy of admitting that, and there are days that I definitely still struggle, and that's okay. And teaching and standing up in front of a class was never something that I thought I would ever have the confidence to do. I remember in school, we'd have to do presentations, and I did not want to. I would dread the day that I would have to stand up in front of the class of people that I'd been at school with. Yes, that I was also getting bullied, so I was standing up in front of, you know, people. Well done, Marcie. Of course I was standing up in front of people. I was standing up in front of the class, and I would just be filled with so much dread, so much worry, so much anxiety. And then I would still, when I got home, play it over in my brain constantly. What have I said? What could I have said? What should I have said? Why did I say that? Why did I do this? Did this person look at me funny? What are people thinking? And it's a really, really, really horrible way to feel. And I know that so many of us have felt like that and still feel like that on a daily basis. So I had a conversation with my beautiful friend Kerry, and she just asked me a lot of different questions, and it really brought a lot of clarity to me. And I remember saying to her, you know, I want to be the person that I needed when I was a little girl, when I was growing up. I want to be the person that will hold your hand, obviously pre-corona. Now I will gently guide you in at a social distance to the class and or to any environment, whether that is in personal life, whether I meet you in the supermarket, on the street, or if I work with you, if you're a colleague, wherever that is, I want you to feel safe, secure, held, and like you can be your authentic self when you're around me, with no judgment, no pressure to be anyone but who you are. And that is because that is something I never felt, or I never gave myself permission to do or to feel like I could do. I felt like I had to be someone else, and it's just a really, really rubbish feeling. And I don't know why I'm getting emotional. I just remember feeling so sad. I always felt this pressure, and I think society puts the pressure on us. I also think that largely I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I don't know why, and I still do it, and I don't know why. But all I know is that when you are with me, or when you are around me, or when I am teaching you, or whatever it is, however we are communicating, I just want you to feel safe. Safe to be who you are without the fear of judgment, because There's so much beauty in allowing yourself to be vulnerable not only with yourself but with people around you. And quite often vulnerability is something that we look for in others, but we try to hide ourselves. We don't want other people to see our vulnerability because it makes us weak, but it doesn't. There is so much strength. So yes, I think I went off on a bit of a tangent, but we're keeping it super cash. But my why is exactly that. I want you to feel like you are safe, you are heard, you are seen, and you're allowed to be exactly who you are and who you want to be when you're around me. And when you're within my classes, I always teach that we are so different. You might look at somebody on the mat next to you or in front of you and go, whoa, how comes they can do that but I can't? Well, maybe your body doesn't allow it. That's okay. We're all built completely different. We all have so many differences which should be celebrated. So why are we trying to make ourselves the same as one another? And that's a really big thing. I want people to just embrace everything about them, and that is important, and that is my why. So I want to throw it out to you. What is your why? Why do you get up and go and do what you do every day? What is at your core foundation, your core beliefs, your morals, your values? What is it that you love? How do you want to make people feel when they're around you? And how do you want them to be left feeling after they've been around you? And I think one of the most beautiful things, I read this as a quote. I think it was a quote. It was something like, one of the most beautiful things is when you are so unapologetically yourself that other people feel called to do the exact same thing. And it's so true. We should celebrate that. We should celebrate our individuality, our quirks. I don't know what else to call them, just everything, because as individuals we're so different. We could be doing the exact same job, but it's going to be done completely different because we are different. So yeah, I kind of went off on a bit of a tangent. I'm not sure if any of this made sense, but it is a question that I got asked a couple of years ago, and I have spent a lot of time kind of trying to work out why I do what I do. Why do I feel so called to this? And I feel really content in knowing what that why is now. And whenever I'm faced with a difficult situation, I come back to that. I come back to my why. I come back to my truth. And I know that as long as I'm respecting and I'm honoring that, then I cannot make a bad decision, because every decision will lead me to the right place. However we get there, there of course is going to be different obstacles that get thrown in our path. There are going to be route changes, journey changes, hard times, good times. But life is about riding that wave. But I do believe that if you understand your core values, if you understand what your why is, then that journey just is a little bit easier. You can take a nice breath and know that as long as you stay true to your fundamentals, your foundations, your why, then you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're on the journey that you're supposed to be. So yes, I hope this video made sense. I hope the message that I was trying to get across comes across. Please let me know in the comments. So I am throwing this out to you. I want to know, what is your why? You might want to take some time to journal it, maybe write it down, write out what are your core values, what do you believe, what do you want from life, from your work, from your personal life, from anything. And then leave it below for me if you feel comfortable sharing, because I'd really love to hear what your why is. And yeah, keep building that connection and that trust with yourself. Keep coming back to yourself, and know that whatever journey you're on right now, you're exactly where you need to be. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.